Welcome back to the Beach Bum Bookworm. I am Tiffany. I'm so glad y'all found me again today. My channel is all about cozy mysteries and romance books, and today I'm talking about the 2022 Road Trip Challenge. So here is the idea. You hit all the states all the US states in 1 year. So I'm doing all cozy mysteries, so that is what I'm talking about today, the progress I've made, what I still need, maybe asking for some help for some other states because I don't know what I'm going to do for some of them. Let me know if you're participating, how you're doing. It was very easy to plug in the books I've read and see how far I've got, and without even, I mean, some of them have been intentional, but without like really focusing on it, I've hit quite a few. All right, on your way down to comment, don't forget to stop, hit the subscription and the notification bell. Notification bell is going to tell you when I put out new videos each and every single week so you don't miss anything. And the subscription keeps my channel growing, which has been amazing, and I can't thank y'all enough because I'm having so much fun. All right, let's get to it. We're looking at the 2022 Road Trip Challenge Cozy Mystery Edition in 3, 2, 1, go! So, in no particular order, no, I'm kidding, it's in alphabetical order. The first one is Alabama. Don't have an Alabama. Next up, we have Alaska, and I read Bear Witness. This is the first book in the Alaska Untamed Cozy Mystery series by Larko Jensen. A lot of these, I'm not going to go into depth, we'd be here all day, but she is a tour guide on an Alaskan boat. Next up, we have Arizona, and I read Strawberried Alive by JENN McKinlay. This is the latest in the Cupcake Bakery series. So the main character owns a cupcake bakery. It is amazing. The more in the series, the better it gets. It is fantastic. I love it. So next up is Arkansas, and I read Basket Case. This is the first book in the Silver Six Crafting Cozy Mystery series by Nancy Haddock. And although I gave the first one 3 cups of coffee and I thought it would be 5 off the chart stars, I've heard that it gets better, and I'm definitely going to try the next one. California, I read Murder at Redwood Cove. This is by Janet Finn Silver. It's the first book in the Kelly Jackson series. So our main character, Kelly Jackson, takes over a B&B. In the first book, she takes it over like intermittently because the manager was murdered in the first book. Not really giving anything away. It literally starts and he's already been, you know. Next up, we have Colorado, and I read Sweet Revenge. This is the 14th book in the Goldie Bear Cozy Mystery series by DIANE MOTT Davidson. Our main character is Goldie. She is a caterer. Next up, Connecticut, I read Hitting the Books. This is the 9th book in the Library Lovers series by JENN McKinlay. Delaware, I don't have a book for Delaware. Does anybody know a Delaware Cozy Mystery series, or a few? Put them down below. That would be wonderful. Thank you. Next up, we have Florida, and I read Pane and Suffering. This is the first book in the Webb's Glass Shop Cozy Mystery series. This is by Cheryl Holland. I don't know that I'll continue it. I wasn't a big fan, but I will say this. Has nothing to do with the book. It was all personal preference. The reason I chose this one for Florida, because I'd read a few others, is because it takes place in St. Pete, which is a real town, and it is maybe 10 minutes from me. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, maybe not that close, maybe 20 minutes. I used to work in St. Pete, so it's, I mean, you know. All right, next up is Georgia, and I read Burden of Poof. This is the first book in the Bonnie and Clyde Cozy Mystery series by Julianne Lindsay. The main character owns a secondhand dress boutique sort of thing. It was really, really cute. I can't wait to get to the next one. I do not have a Hawaii. So if anybody has suggestions for Hawaii, there was a series that I was reading that I might be able to read one from. It was the Tiki Goddess series by Jill Marie Landis, something like that. I don't know why I remember her name. I need to look at that. But if anybody has any other suggestions, let me know that too. I also need some suggestions for Idaho. Any suggestions? Cozy mysteries for Idaho. Next up, we have Illinois. I read Death in Castle Dark. Oh, this was so good. It is part of the Dinner and Murder Mystery Cozy Mystery series by Veronica Bond, who is AKA Julia Buckley, who's AKA one of my favorite writers. I just think she is amazing. Her writing style just hits my mark. This one is amazing because y'all know that I love theater. If you don't, I love theater. And this one is exactly that. So she is a actress she lives in the castle, but she's an actress at a dinner murder mystery theater in a real bona fide castle, and it's amazing. Oh, so good. Next up is Indiana, and I read Mum's the Word. This is the first book in the Flower Shop series by Kate Collins. I loved this book. Absolutely loved it. Should be getting back to the next one soon. I do not have an Iowa Cozy Mystery series, so suggestions are needed. Kansas, I read Divine Intervention. This was the first book in the Divine Christian Cozy Mystery series by Hope Callahan, and I loved it. I thought it was so great, and it's really refreshing because there's no murder in it. So the main character runs a halfway house for women just coming out of prison for them to get back on their feet and learn skills, life skills, that sort of thing. It was amazing. I thought it was so good. Next up is Kentucky, and I read Hitches, Hideouts, and Homicide. This is by Tanya Kappas. I love this series. So it is the Campers and Criminals series. Our main character, Mae West, she was married to and was in was very wealthy and married to a businessman. He was committing white collar crime. He gets charged. He gets put in prison. All of his assets are seized, and she has nothing except a campground because they had put it in her name. So she goes to the campground and she really does a lot to fix it up. She lives there, and it is so good. There's lots of great characters. I know it's weird to say, but it feels very cozy. Oh, it's amazing. It's a really great series. Next up is Louisiana, and I read Body on the Bayou. This is the second book in the Cajun Country series. I've read this series out of order. It is really fun. The family owns a B&B. This is by Ellen Byron. Next up is Maine, and I read Clammed Up. This is the first book in the Maine Clam Bake series by Barbara Ross. So our main characters goes back to her hometown in Maine, Bar Harbor, I think it's Bar Harbor, Maine, to help with her family's clam bake business. And I had read it a couple years ago and stopped it, and then somebody encouraged me to reread it, and I thought it was good. And then I read what I thought was the next one, which actually ended up being number 3, and I really enjoyed it. So I definitely will be reading more. Maryland, I need a Maryland. Help me out here. Massachusetts, I read A Cider Murder. This is the first book in the Cape Cod Foodie Cozy Mystery series by Amy Persian. So our main character is a food blogger. Or she writes for a food magazine. It's one of those. Next up is Michigan, and I read Dying for Strawberries. This is the first book in the Berry Basket series by Sharon Farrow, and I love this series. So the main character owns a specialty shop that is all things berry. So berry chapstick, berry candles, berry potpourri, berry jam, jelly. You get the idea. Anything you think of that you can put a berry into, she has done it, and I loved it, loved it, loved it. Next up is Minnesota, and I read Caramel Pecan Roll Murder. This is the 28th book in the Hannah Swenson series by Joanne Fluke. The main character, Hannah, she owns a cookie bakery shop in Minnesota. Next up, I have a big long line of states that I need some help with. Mississippi, help me out. Missouri, need some suggestions. Montana needs some suggestions. Nebraska, Nevada, and New Hampshire. All of those, please help me out with any one of those. New Jersey, I read Class Reunions Are Murder. This is the first book in the Poppy McAllister series by Libby Klein. I've since read a ton more, and I don't think I read the first one in this series this year. I'm caught up in this series, so I don't think I've read it all in 1 year, but you know what? I don't know. So our main character is Poppy, and she goes back to her hometown for a school class reunion, and she ends up staying. She bakes gluten-free bakery cup treats, and then she's also starting a B&B with, is it her aunt or her grandma? I believe it's her aunt, in her aunt's home. Next up, we have New Mexico, and I need help with New Mexico. Although there's a series that I do read that's in New Mexico. we'll have to look into that one. Next up is New York, and I read Tempest in the Tea Leaves. This is the first book in the Fortune Teller Cozy Mystery series. This is by Carrie Lee Townsend, and I really enjoyed this one as well. So she is a fortune teller, and the police, most of the police except for the lead detective, like encourage her help, which was interesting. And the lead detective's like, no. And then there's also, of course, a romance with that. But it was really fun, and I really enjoyed it. Next up is North Carolina, and I read Spellbooked. This is the first book in the Retired Witches Cozy Mystery series by Joyce and Jim Levine. And I want to say this is one of the most surprising books of 2022 for me because I loved it. It was so cute. So these women have been together for centuries because, you know, they're witches, and they are looking to retire because they are losing their magic over time. And so they need people to bring in. And it was so cute, funny, the banter between them. I loved it all. There were points where it was starting to get a little like out there for me, and I'm like, and then it would be like rein back in as far as like paranormal. So I ended up loving this, and we'll definitely read the next one. Next up is North Dakota, and don't have one. Next up is Ohio, and I read Death by Dumpling. This is the first book in the Noodle Shop series by Vivian Chen, and I love this series. I've done the first 3, and I was hoping that the other ones will come out on audio because it was so much fun. The main character works for her family's restaurant, and it is great. The characters are great. I really enjoy it. Oklahoma, don't have one. Help me out. Oregon, I read Magic in Christmas River. This is the 7th book by Meg Muldoon. The main character is Cinnamon, and she owns a pie shop. It's a bakery, but I think they just do pies, if I'm remembering correctly. It's a really fun series. There's a really fun grandpa, and her relationship, her love interest relationship is amazing in that series. It's so well done. All right, couple more. I need some help with Pennsylvania. I don't have one. I don't have anything for Rhode Island. South Carolina, I read Asking for Truffle. This is the first book in the, Southern Chocolate Cozy Mystery Series, I think it's called. This is by Dorothy St. James. It's exactly what it sounds like, a chocolate shop. Next up, South Dakota, don't have anything. Tennessee, I read Death in Bloom. This is the first book in the Flower House Cozy Mystery Series by Jess Dillon, and I think I gave it 3 cups of coffee. It was definitely one I'll continue, but I don't remember what I ended up rating it. Next up is Texas, and I really enjoyed this one. It's called Pillow Stalk. This is the first book in the Mad for Mod Cozy Mystery Series by Diane Valere, and she is an interior designer, and she is obsessed with Doris Day, so she's all about the 60s. And it was really cute. Next up is Utah, and I read To Helvetica and Back. This is the first book in the Dangerous Type Cozy Mystery Series by Paige Shelton. This was a read-along for us, so I read all 3 of them. It's a trilogy, and the main character works with her grandpa who owns a shop that fixes old typewriters and rare books. So I thought that was really cool. It has a really cool atmosphere, and since it's in Utah, it's more of a cozy that has like a cold theme, like as far as like weather, because we get a lot of tropical and a lot of, definitely a lot of northeast, but we don't have a lot of like winter. And so I thought this was awesome. I really loved it. Next up is Vermont, and I read Peril at Pumpkin Hill. This is part of the In Vermont series by Thea Camber, and it was a huge 5 cups of coffee for me. Really, really loved it. So the main character works at an inn in Vermont, is her family's inn. Next up is Virginia, and I read A Murder for the Books. This is the first book in the Blue Ridge Library series by Victoria Gilbert. Washington is up next, and I read Without a Brew. This is the 4th book in the Sloane Krause series by Ellie Alexander. Sloane Krause, she works at a brewery in Leavenworth, Washington, so everything is kind of centered around beer, and it is amazing. Next up is West Virginia, and I need your help, y'all. All right. After that, we have Wisconsin, and I read Murder at the Lakeside Library. This is the first book in the Lakeside Library Cozy Mystery Series by Holly Danvers, and I loved this book. I can't wait to read the next one. It's exactly what it sounds like, and it was a lot of fun. And the last one is Wyoming, and it's a wah wah. I don't have anything for Wyoming. So all of those that I don't have anything for, I would love suggestions. I need suggestions. Please give me suggestions. All right, everyone. Let me know if you're participating and where you are. Give me a big thumbs up for this video. And until next time, may all your future reads be 5 stars.